We're recording. All right, so let's begin. All right, hi everyone. Welcome to Actualize It. Thank you for those that are able to make it live joining us here. We're so excited to dive into this. And if you're watching the replay, hello, thank you for watching this replay, for taking the time for yourself to dive into this and to honor yourself and your mission, your purpose, to receive this energy transmission, receive this guidance to support you in rising up and actualizing your purpose. So for those that are live, we love to have an interactive conversation, as I know that you guys know this. Those that have been to our training before, I've worked with this for years, and know that we work so much better when you talk with us. So use the comments, let us know how you're doing, let us know what resonates, let us know your questions, and we will make this a really fun and interactive conversation. A true full-on workshop where we get to work with you in this process. All right, so before we dive in, we're just going to, I know that you guys know us, but anyone that's watching the replay doesn't know us. I just want to do a little introduction, just a short little introduction of who we are, what we do, why we're here, why we're doing this training, all the things, and then we'll dive into actualizing it. So I guess I will go first. Alyssa, did you want to say hi? I feel like I just started talking and didn't hear you.
I said all of my highs before the recording started, so everyone here got lots of attention, and everyone on the replay, hello, hi, welcome. As Ashley said, yeah, for those of you who are here, be as interactive as possible. Like, anything you have to say is really respected and honored by us. We're also going to do the last 15 minutes as Q&A. So for anyone who's watching the replay, feel free to jump inside of our Facebook group with the Authentic Embodiment Collective and ask those questions there. Anybody who's here, we'd love to just speak directly to you and offer you as much support as possible, because this is a very wild time right now, as I'm sure I don't need to explain to you. So we're here for you. We honor you. Thank you for being here. And yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So those that are new to my world, hello, hi. I'm Ashley Dufresne. I'm a Master Channel Energy Alchemist and the CEO of Authentic Embodiment. And my mission is to support sensitive people in aligning with their authentic selves and their soul's mission. I guide them through my process to help them really activate and master their energy alignment, their soul's vibration, so that they can confidently step into who they are, who they came onto this planet to be, so they can live out the purpose, the mission that they came here to live out. So through my process, I've helped leaders, entrepreneurs, empaths, light workers in really stepping back from all the chaos and stepping back into themselves to really reconnect with who they are, into the depths of what that really means, and move past the conditionings that have had them playing out in a certain way that is, well, dimming their light, dimming who they really came here to be, and help them shed that into the fullest expression so they can really shine their light and live out the most joyous and fulfilling life, and they're making the impact they came here to make. So it's a little bit about me and what I do, and Alyssa supports me in this, so I'm going to open up the space here for Alyssa to share a little bit about her.
Hey, hello. My name is Alyssa Bailey, for those of you who don't know me. Some of you who are here have worked with me in Activate Your Life's Purpose. I'm the lead facilitator in Ashley's signature program. I'm currently going to school for my master's in transpersonal psychology. So a lot of that enters my work, and my background is in the clinical mental health realm and behavioral psychology and neuroscience. And so a lot of that scientific sort of structure feeds into and melds with my world of spiritual guidance and helping people on the journey of that spiritual awakening, guidance towards their purpose. But I also feel that my main value is to guide people in their own personal reclamation work and to open them to their own innate wisdom and how to do that. We have so much that lives within us from our own experience and that's guided from our innate and soul's calling and purpose. And a lot of times we just don't have the formula to wake that up, or it feels really overwhelming and heavy. And so my job and my work and basically everything I do is to hold that container so that folks understand that they're not broken, but really incredibly fucking wise. And so that's the work that I'll be doing here in this short workshop. That's the work that I'll be doing in Activate Your Life's Purpose if you join us for that. And elsewhere until the end of time. So thank you for being here. I'm really excited to work with y'all.
All right, so we try to keep our bios as short and concise as possible. It's like a little mini taste of us. If you want to like get to know us more, connect us deeper, you can find us on Instagram or join us in our Facebook group. But we just wanted to make as much space as possible for this workshop, so you're able to just like really get all of the goodness possible in this short amount of time. So if you're like, I still don't know them, go find us elsewhere, but listen to us here. Because we're going to be sharing some high value stuff that you're going to be really happy that you came here for and took notes on. So I should say right now, if you don't have a notebook or you don't have a Google Doc open, please do that. Get your journal, get your pen, or get that Google Doc up so you can take as many notes as possible in this. All right, so you guys ready? See a comment. I should probably keep this up, huh? I'm so ready to soak up all this wisdom from you ladies. Yay! Thank you for offering this extra support during this time. You are welcome.
Whoa, also Becky, those are some wicked emojis that you used here, and I am not that Zoom savvy, so that's amazing. Thank you for those moments of magic.
I didn't even think about that. I haven't used
No,
them.
I didn't know that you could do that. There's like sparkles happening. That's amazing.
Oh, this is great. This is going to be so fun. All right, so let's dive in. So you're here now probably because you're feeling the chaos of 2020. And you thought that by this point, things would probably have settled by now, right? You're like, oh, we thought it would be over in the summer. It'll be over in the summer. Now it's October and what? Yeah, you probably just hit to the conclusion. It just probably hits you like, oh gosh, this is gonna be like this the rest of the year. Who has had that thought like, oh, I realize now this is gonna be longer than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this energy is not gonna, from what I've channeled and confirmed by other channels, it's just this energy isn't really going to crack open and become easy until like January 2021. Not because it's the new year, but for whatever reason, maybe that's part of it, but for whatever reason, the energy shifts in January and it will finally open up. So you being here right now is wonderful because we're going to prep you for how to actually utilize this energy right now in the way that you, to the greatest advantage, to your greatest advantage, so that you can actually be not just like floating during this time, but if you're feeling this motivation, which you're in this training for Actualize It, you clearly are like feeling the motivation to like do something, like get out there, share your purpose, work towards something. So I know that you want to be using this time in your greatest advantage. So just want to say right now, if you have this idea that we're going to give you this like perfect masculine driven structure plan of this like ABC thing of what you need to do to actualize your purpose right at this moment, you might want to leave because we're actually going to give you the deep dive work of what's actually going to help you actualize your purpose and make it sustainable. So just letting you know, we're not going to give you some BS structure. We're actually going to give you like the deep dive, like what's actually going to work for you. Want to add anything to that, Alyssa?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think if you've worked with us before, you know that we don't do quick fix shit because that's not the way to embody anything. And that's the work that we do is in reclamation and embodiment and in, once again, actualizing things, activating things, getting these things moving in a way that is most aligned and is therefore very fluid. So we're not forcing things. And I think I'll save the rest for later, but mostly know that we're not going to give you anything quick fix related and that this really is a deep dive. And if you've been taught anything from 2020, it's that there is no quick way out of this, right? There is no skirting around it. There is no bypassing it. So why not really utilize this time as the threshold that it is to go deep, to uncover it, and to rebuild your foundation in a way that serves you so that you can absolutely kick ass from there and be confident that what you're doing is aligned. And what we're doing a lot of right now is trying to make all these moves and then going, oh, is it aligned? It's not really working. Is this right? Maybe I'll try this. But we don't want to be in that place. How absolutely terrible and uprooting is that place, right? So we're going to take you into something much deeper that actually builds that foundation once again to be able to get you to a place of actualization.
Yeah, this feels really funky, and I feel like it would be doing a disservice to not validate you guys' experiences of like what energetically is happening and why maybe you've been trying to live out your purpose and it's for whatever reason not clicking. It's the energy. This really wasn't a year to hit the ground running and like scale your work and like make these massive breakthroughs. It's like really a year of like retrograde is what it is. This year of, if you know astrology, you know what I mean? Like it's a year of retrograde, meaning like we're meant to be going back, like taking these steps back, like looking back, restructuring, pulling things up. And although your soul is probably calling out for like, all right, I'm ready. I know I have this mission. I know I have this purpose. This is my time. I got to get out there. I got to be doing this, right? You got this like voice in your head that's like, come on, just do it already. You have this like hustle mode and you're like, I know I got to do this. Time is running out. What's happening here? Like, we need this. And then like everything around you is like pulling you back. I did this recent energy update, this channeling on what's going on. And I call it like Jello. Like we're in this like Jello mode right now. Yes. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So we're in this Jello mode, and it sounds really weird. And you're like, what the heck does that mean? Basically, it's what I'm talking about here. Like, you have this motivation, you have this drive, you want to be living out your purpose, and then all of a sudden, you're just like not moving. You're just like floating in space, like gravity cut, and then you're still in the same spot. It's like this drive in you still there, and you're not able to move forward because right now the energy isn't calling you to run. It isn't calling you to like put your head down and hustle forward. It isn't a time of hustle, and you probably have experienced what it feels like to try to hustle right now. It feels like burnout, feels like overwhelm. It feels like you've like ran out of breath. It feels like you keep messing up and like you're doing something wrong. And it's not that you're doing anything wrong. We're just listening to the part of us that's telling us to run instead of the soul part of us that's telling us to step back and observe, witness what's happening, witness what's really coming up, what your guides are surfacing, what your soul is shining light on. Because that work right here, the things that are clearly surfacing, I mean, we're all are experiencing the collective event, but also being affected individually by the energy. And that individual work that's coming up, that's our invitation to move forward. It doesn't feel like moving forward. We're like, oh, we're here again? We're here again. I just want to have my business running. I just want to see these numbers. I just want to live out my purpose. I know it can be really frustrating. It can be really frustrating to be in that position of like, how many times do I have to end up in this place? And Alyssa and I were talking about this, and she said it really well. So I'm going to open up the floor for her to continue on with that.
Sure. Yeah. So the way, like Ashley said, we're seeing this collectively, right? We're seeing this in our damn whole society, culture, world right now, where there's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of forward movement, but in a way that's really rigid and unsustainable. And then we fall back and we go, wait, I thought we were going in the right direction. And then we feel like we have to rebuild all over again and start over. And I experienced this on an individual level too, where I did try to hustle and I could keep that up for 1 month, 2 months, and then shit would hit the fan and it became unsustainable. And what did I do? I tried to go back to my foundation. However, that same old foundational work that I was doing, that work to regulate and those ways that I felt like I knew were what were going to step me back into that frequency and take me to a higher caliber, weren't working anymore. Why? Why is that happening, y'all? If you're here, you are part of this community that is aligned with their purpose in terms of raising the frequency and vibration of the entire planet, right? We can't do that in the narrative of the old paradigm. So if we're going back to try to do that foundational work that served us in the old paradigm, how do we expect that to get us to a place of actualization in the new paradigm? Okay, I like to put this, if you've worked with your own personal trauma, okay, and you have foundational work that you did in survival mode, is that foundational work going to work for you in thrive mode? Because it didn't for me. It was just an obsession with regulation and trying to stay in a place of survival. Just go forward, just charge forward, just hustle ahead, just take that next action. That's not the new paradigm. That's not how we're going to actualize these really big dreams that serve a function that aren't just survival. Right? Does that resonate with y'all? Have you been feeling that? Because I know we all know how to take care of ourselves in some capacity. But is that the self that we want to lead and charge ahead with in the new paradigm? Or is that the survival self? Okay, so this is where we get caught up, because we're like, I don't want to go back and do the foundational work. I don't want to. I don't want to go back. I've done that. I'm trying to charge ahead. I'm trying to take action. I'm trying to be bold. I'm trying to actualize my soul-aligned business and calling. Okay, so where's the rebrand there? Because we have to do that next level of foundational work. That foundational work that's going to allow us to charge ahead in the new paradigm in a way that's aligned. Because otherwise, we're just going to keep being in the frequency of those blocks we keep hitting. Because we're going to keep operating in the frequency of that old paradigm. So we're not going back. It's cyclical. We are building frequency here. So do we need to do deep foundational work? Fuck yes, we do. But it is not going to look the same as that foundational, regulatory, settling sort of work we were doing when we were surviving. Okay, when we were making it work in a paradigm and a culture and a society that didn't fit us. Because we have to create something new, and you're seeing that now. That's where all of this rupture is coming from in our society and our culture. It's not working. So something new has to be created, and that something new has to have an absolutely impenetrable foundation in order to be built, because it's got a lot to compete with in the old paradigm. Okay, so I want to drive that home so that we understand every time the ego comes up and goes, I'm not going to do it. I've already done that foundational work. We can go, bullshit. This is really important. And this is an entirely new, we talk about the hierarchy of needs, or there's these pyramids, right? This is a new pyramid. New needs, new call to action, new foundation. Okay, I've ranted for a long time. I'm gonna turn it over to Ashley.
We'll go into that. Okay, so basically, I think what everyone that I've worked with has had the same like resistance to doing this foundation work. Like, well, I've been doing foundational work for so long. I'm ready to like move forward. I'm ready to take action on my purpose. And you are. And let me explain why. The frequency of 2019 is a completely different frequency than 2021. 2020, we've all felt it is this threshold. It's this in between. We're not quite embodied in this next frequency, and we're no longer where we were. We're not going back into that. And so when we try to continue, and when we do, when we take action and like are in that fire mode and building off of what we've already had in the old paradigm, aka 2019 and previous, when we're functioning from that energy, there's only so far we can go. There's literally a ceiling. There's a ceiling because we're not expanding in that energy anymore. And so it's imperative that we shift over and embody this new frequency that we're stepping into. Now, we can't just embody something through knowledge of it. We all know that there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. It's the embodiment of that transmutes it from knowledge to wisdom. And so tangibly, that looks like reanalyzing your life right here, right now. Analyzing the difference of what has come up, what is shifting, what has been let go of, what have you severed from, what is no longer working in this new frequency here. What's not working that you have been trying to make work? What is still in the vibration of this old paradigm, aka everything previous to 2020, that you keep doing because it's what you've known? Whether it's like putting your head down and working really hard, or if you're a business owner, an online business owner, like posting 6 days a week or doing your emails, or if you are a healer, doing this, and this process, you know what I mean? Like, we all have a process that we've been pulling from the past. And so when we talk about this foundational work, it isn't that we're saying like, you need to go back, you're not done, you messed up. Like, no. We're actually in a different frequency here. And so to actualize your purpose in this new frequency It takes the embodiment of this frequency and what it looks like and feels like and exists in your body, in your energy body, and understanding how the frequency of your purpose is correlating with it. And I know that's like a kind of a mindfuck concept, like, what are you saying? But if you look at it in a tangible way, it's kind of seeing how things haven't been working in 2020. You can see it on a collective level, on a political level, on a medical system level, how things aren't working. But you can also see it on an individual level of like what in your life has been breaking down. Where have you continued to push forward out of stubbornness or out of conditioning that just you've hit your wit's end, like you've really hit your ceiling here and it's not working. Mm-hmm. It's not working because you're doing anything wrong other than you haven't embodied the new frequency yet. And so that's what Lissa's saying of that foundational work. And that hierarchy of needs is necessary because right now we've all been triggered into this survival mode. Like this is like the common frequency. Everybody's root chakra is like blown up. Everyone is in this serious, like in one way, shape or another, like everybody's feeling that root chakra shake because the collective's foundation is shaking. And it's no one can skip out on this work because the collective's foundation hasn't been built. And the collective's foundation is only built on an individual level. So we all must do that.
Yeah, that is perfect what Becky had put in the comments. I'm wondering how to ground this new foundation and energy into my body and not be overwhelmed by it, right? Yeah, that's a great question. For yourself to look into deeper after this training. What I will say to elaborate on what Ashley's talking about is right, when we look at it on an individual level, it could be within our business. And if we have a business, it very likely is within our business also. I'm not going to say only, okay? It could be within our relationships also, but it's definitely going to be within the way that you are caring for yourself and the way that you are working through your stories, the way that you are dealing with your own internal dialogue. And remember that these things that Ashley is saying, right, that aren't serving you anymore, remember that they're so hard to let go of because at one point they really did serve you, right? So we're not saying that, again, that these things are wrong, but that some of these things are going to have to fall away to create space for that new foundation to be poured, right? So if you start seeing yourself, like, man, I've been doing the same, this is for me, my own personal experience. I've been doing the same morning routine for like 2 years. What is that? Like, there's no way. I was in survival mode 2 years ago. There's no way that all of those things are still serving me. And at this point, they're taking up space where these other foundational things could be coming in to help me build that new foundation of actualization. Because for sure, I've changed in 2 years, right? How about y'all? How about some of those coping skills that you fall back on when things get really tough, those regulating things that you fall back on that you've been doing for years because they really served you? Now are they serving you? Or could they be opened up to make space for new foundation to be poured? Right? How about actions in taking aligned steps towards your business? Are the same things you were doing 2 years ago serving you now? Or are they still attached to that old paradigm? What has to fall away that we've been doing repetitiously and habitually that could open up to make space for that new foundation to pour in, right? So these things are every facet of ourself. Every facet of ourself. These things are breaking down. And it's one of the reasons why we keep feeling pulled in all these different directions and like we're running in jello. So that foundation is not there right now. It's a foundation for us in 2019.
Mm-hmm. And so what we're calling you into and we're inviting you into is opening up the space for yourself, a sacred space for yourself to have a rites of passage, truly, because none of us are leaving the same person we came into 2020 as. Hold a space for you to witness, who are you really? What are the stories that are playing out that are crafting your life right now that are not aligned with where you want to be stepping into? Emotionally, how are you doing? Are you currently trying to just regulate your emotions enough to like be at par, to just be okay? Or are you allowing yourself the space and the expansion to experience more? How about your nervous system? Are we still here just trying to regulate enough to just make it by, to not have to self-medicate?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you with that? How are you allowing your nervous system to not just be okay, re-regulated, but to actually support you in thriving? Because that's possible. We hear all the time about how the nervous system just like, oh, let it just be calm. Well, how about when it's activated in a way that moves you, that lights you up, that initiates parts of your being and your energy body to take action in the ways that your soul's calling you into? You know,
Yeah.
I think this year has been all about, all right, our foundation's ripped up, like let's regulate, let's just work on these fundamental pieces. Well, if we want to get into this next energy, we need to work on the next level of that foundation. What's
Mm-hmm.
actually going to move you and not just keep you still right here. And so everything that I'm sharing here, these are all aspects of the signature program that we had mentioned before, Activate Your Life's Purpose, like to a T. I know the program's called Activate Your Life's Purpose, and you think it's like, oh, I'll just discover my purpose. Well, the thing is,
No.
if you're not in the frequency of your purpose, it's not going to drop in. It can't. This fundamental work has to happen first. This story work, this energy work, this alignment work, this nervous system work, this fundamental work is imperative. And the length of that, we can't force how long it takes. Depending on where you are, it may take longer, it may take less time. That's not for us to choose. That's everybody's journey. But regardless, it's imperative, because you can't possibly be in vibrational resonance with your purpose without being in vibrational resonance within your body of that, to actually call that in, to drop it in, to channel it. And then you sure as hell aren't going to feel confident in it or certain in it unless you do the work to clear the stories that have been keeping you from it, that have been the exact resistance of it. You could discover your purpose right now. I could channel it for you right now. And you might be like, oh my God, that's it. Oh my God, yes, finally. And then a couple days later, you'd be like, oh, that can't be right. Me? Am I able to do that? No, no, no. And then you go through all your stories and all your beliefs and all of the traumas that are popping up from it. And then in a few days, you're like, wait, what was it again? What was my purpose? Because discovering your purpose is very different. It's a very different experience than embodying it. Knowing is knowledge. Wisdom is embodied. And that takes this deep inner work, that takes the sacred space, that takes stepping out of hustle mode and into being mode. And when you allow yourself that step back in that space to be held, to be witnessed, to undergo this process, to work through each and every layer of yourself to match the frequency of your purpose, it drops in and it gets to be easy. It does get to be easy, and it does get to flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Becky said, wow, powerful. Hold that sacred space for yourself to see how you are changing and bear witness to yourself in the transformation. Exactly, 100%. So I want to take that to the like basics of the basics of what you can do. Okay, so we keep talking about foundation. We keep talking about this hierarchy. We keep talking about the collective change, the societal change, everything that's shaken up, and how that interacts on an individual level. So what is so foundational, so absolutely foundational that we cannot move forward unless we've met this need, this foundational need for ourselves? Safety. Safety. How much has safety been rocked in this culture, in this society, with the pandemic, in this world, with wildfires? I've got 2 fires to either side of me right now. Okay. How has your safety been rocked on an individual level? And I'm not just talking your health. I'm not just talking your health, being in isolation. I'm not just talking about the like radical dis-ease we're seeing culturally and the movement that we're seeing. I'm talking about your stories. What stories are still hanging around that is making it unsafe for you to actualize your purpose? What emotions and what relationships with your emotions are still hanging around, making it unsafe for you to actualize your purpose? Okay? Because our home is here first. So what in the survival hierarchy, what did safety look like? Just survival, right? I'm doing okay. I got it. I'm regulated today. I'm not having this crazy emotional reaction to stuff. Like, I'm okay. I'm not having a panic attack, or when I am, I can come back down, I can regulate. Is that safety in the hierarchy of actualization? Because we're going to need a whole lot more there. We're going to need the safe containers to be able to break down these stories. We're going to need the safe container that allows us to be witnessed in that transformation. We're going to need the safe containers for us to be able to dig up all of that shit that at one time really served us, to create the space and bypass the ego, to be able to call in those things that actually serve us better, right? Because we keep saying the things that didn't serve us. The first thing that comes into my mind is my ego going, wait, they serve me, they regulate me in some way. Okay, what can serve you better? What serves you in the direction of that actualization? Because safety looks a lot different in that survival mode. And if we're getting stuck there, we're not going to be able to really break down those stories of what's keeping us from being safe inside myself? What is keeping me from being safe inside myself? What is keeping me from being safe and actualizing my purpose?
Party!
Those foundations look very different, and it still is absolutely vital, right? It was vital for survival mode, and it's gonna be vital for actualization mode. And if there's something that is absolutely foundational to why Activate Your Life's Purpose works, it's because there is that wholesome, safe container, so that no matter what happens in that journey of undergoing those story rewrites, of digging deep into our own emotional well-being and our relationships and our blocks, no matter what happens, there's a safe container around it to build from. Okay, that's the foundation of actualization. Does that make sense? It's going to look a lot different. Same theme, totally different in terms of action.
Yeah. So if you're feeling like you've been doing it for a while, you've been trying to make it work, you're like been running forth and like find yourself out of breath and overwhelmed and burnt out, it's time to try something different. It's time to try something different, because running forth at full force isn't working right now. And it won't work until you have something to run on. You have the pathway paved for you. You're in the vibrational frequency of your purpose that you're able to move with it. Another powerful thing is there's so much. I know that everybody that like comes into our world, they're healers. They've done their own work. They've done lots of work. But there's only so far that we can go on our own. There's only so far. And I've tried to go all the way. I'm like, I don't need anyone else. And I'm telling you that after I tried my first group program, or like a container where I was held, I never went back. I'm like, why would I ever just do things alone? I can do things alone. And wow, I have a lot of blind spots. Oh, wow, I didn't recognize that story. And when somebody mirrored it back to me, oh, wow, I say that story a lot. Or wow, I didn't realize how powerful I was. And somebody witnessing that me, and now I'm able to witness it. There's so much that we can't just do on our own. And if you're serious about living out your purpose and you're ready to rise into your fullest expansion, you need those mirrors to see you, to witness you, to reflect back to you. What actually has been holding you back? how to move through it, and just how powerful you really are.
About this doing it by yourself too. Hi, I'm a chronic do it by myselfer, which means I've also witnessed just how difficult that is in this energy of running in jello, right? It sucks, y'all. It super sucks. And it also is not kind or compassionate. And I can tell you right now, if we're not being kind and compassionate with ourselves, we're going to keep living in that old paradigm and that old hierarchy of survival. And so this sort of thing is really important. And for those of us, especially, who have gone through so much that we've learned to be hyper independent, which is a trauma response, sometimes the most healing thing is to step into that container to be held by other people and helped by other people. Again, in no way, especially in Activate Your Life's Purpose, in no way is our purpose to like give you the information. It's to hold the container for you to wake up to what's so innate within you, right? And so it's like we can go that hard, treacherous path, but how far are we going to get? We can go that kind, compassionate path, and I promise you it's going to elevate your work, your purpose, your awareness, your sovereignty in a way that's beyond whatever happened struggling through it alone.
Oh my gosh, it's like putting on a jetpack. Someone described, a past client had described, it's like putting on a jetpack and like really like speeding up on your purpose. And so if you are feeling the call to utilize this energy in 2020 and really use the power of this threshold as a means to undergo a rites of passage into your next level, if you're ready to dive deep into yourself and not just discover your purpose, but do the energetic and deep healing work to align with it and become it, we got great news. Activate Your Life's Purpose is enrolling. We actually begin next week. We begin next week. And this will be the last round of 2020. We won't be opening up again until 2021, spring of 2021. So it will be like 6 months until the container opens back up. So it's definitely not the time to wait. I know that we're all feeling this pull to get out there, to lead our purpose, to be showing up, to be living the most fulfilling and joyous life, but also this like deep soul pull, like, hey, I need to be doing this work. I need to be sharing my light. I need to be, that deep soul nudge for something more. Use this energy in your favor to move you so that when you enter 2021 and the energy opens, you can hit the ground running. You can run with the foundation that you've created here in 2020. This is your time, and we would love to have you inside. And so to help take a first step into actualizing your purpose, I've opened up spots in my calendar for free purpose clarity calls. So on these calls, it's an opportunity for you to have a call with me one-on-one. We'll dive into your purpose, where you're at on that journey, and I'll guide you in figuring out what the best next steps are. And if Activate Your Life's Purpose is that, we can dive into that. And if it's not, I'll guide you in the right direction. I'm not one of those people you'll jump on a sales call with and like be pitched to if it's not aligned. Never going to happen, because we don't want someone in the group that's not going to benefit the most from it. We're not in it for the money. We're in it to change lives. And so you'll know if it's a good fit, I'll let you know. And if it's not, I'll point you in the right direction. So I'm going to open up, I think I have 5, maybe 6 spots left. I think one other person just booked. I think I have 5 spots left in my calendar before Saturday to book a call with me. I'll drop I'll send it in an email. It'll be easier. I'll put in the email the application to book a purpose clarity call. And I think that's anything you want to add to that, Alyssa, before jumping into Q&A?
Yes, regardless if you are set on Activate Your Life's Purpose or not, please utilize that call. Like Ashley said, with the energy and everything else, and we're talking about being kind and compassionate with yourself, would you not benefit from someone witnessing you and everything that you're experiencing right now, so that you have someone to honor that experience, who understands what you're going through, who understands the struggle of actualization in this bizarre time, and also the importance of it. Because I was going to say it can be extremely isolating, but obviously we're living in a time of extreme isolation. We're having to come up with those creative ways to connect with one another so that we can continue to move forward in the way that is most aligned for the world at large and for each of us individually. So utilize that call, y'all. You have a purpose channel who would like to hold that space for you. So utilize that call. Okay, that's all.
Awesome. So let's open up the space now. We have about 12 minutes here for Q&A. Let's dive in. I know that we just like nailed in the importance of foundational work. So I know that there's got to be a lot of resistance and questions coming up. So whoever would like to go first, like please take up space, put your hand up. Let's get these questions in so we can get everyone the space to be heard today and helped.
Also, Becky wrote in the comments, and I love this, so I'm going to read that, and y'all think about your questions and then ask your questions. But this is thinking about an upgrade in a computer and how it has a program to rewrite the code that is defective. Exactly. It's like bypassing your ego, rewrite the code, upgrade. You two are blowing my mind. I'm so glad that this resonates in a way for you that is like intellectualizing, where you can go like, oh yes, this is what's happening. This is what needs to happen to rewrite it. And that's what's going to get me there. Because that's always the hope and the desire, so much so. So I'm so grateful that that's hitting and resonating with you. And I really can't wait to, like, please keep us updated on what's to come from that. Yeah, Becky.
Okay. First of all, thank you. Wow. You know, like fireworks are going off as you guys are speaking, just so deeply aligning and just helpful. So thank you. I've been really thinking about, a lot of us, I'm sure, has been very intimately acquainted with our shadow work, you know, all of the things that are coming out during this time. You have nowhere to run, right? So the shadow work is like, if you didn't know about it, you kind of know about it right now, finally. So I've been, and that's kind of more of the feminine energy, right? The feeling into it, not being afraid of it, just kind of embracing it, like you said, very compassionately with like softness. And this side that's coming out now, I feel like is more of the masculine energy, like the sun work, I call it. The willingness to be seen in your authentic self. I'm realizing that quarantine and all of this stuff makes it very easy to hide. And so it's just like now, like you said, maybe in January, the energy is going to clear up. It's like all of this work is getting ready for us to be seen fully in our authentic self and to like come out of the closet in many different ways. And so I really loved what you said about the practice of holding sacred space for yourself to witness the transformation, because a lot of people are not seeing what has happened during this time with this virus and everything that you had for yourself and you did the inner work. I'm just, any tips, any suggestions of just helping you to be authentically seen? Because that's something that's, for me, I'm really having a harder time of being able to be fully seen. I'm very comfortable in the shadow work. So now it's this just transition.
Yeah, great question. This is a really common one we see with leaders. It's, you know, they know their purpose, they know it deeply, and it's like going out there and allowing themselves to be seen in that. It's a whole nother game. And that's like, that's in itself a whole journey. Like, and you clearly know. And when I said like, yeah, there's a difference between knowing your purpose and living it out, right? You're like, oh yeah, I know my purpose. And like to go to step out and be seen in it, that's a whole nother ball game. That's like a whole other experience. And so what I invite you into is go ahead and try it. And then instead of like doing it, notice what comes up. Notice where in your body you feel that tension, that contraction. Notice what stories come up for you, what beliefs, what fears. Where are you being triggered into hiding? I'm sure you probably want to add to that, Alyssa, because we could.
Yeah. Beautiful. I have several things. First of all, this comes up all the time with our folks who are later in the program of Activate Your Life's Purpose, because we ask them to do that. And what happens if you just go, I just commend you for taking this space and having this awareness around like, I want to show up that way, but, and like having that sort of resistance, because what happens if that resistance isn't there is we go full force for it. We don't have that awareness around where it doesn't feel good, where it doesn't feel aligned, etc. And then we just keep pushing it because we know we have to show up. And then it falls back into that old paradigm narrative of I have to do this, I have to show up this way, and we just keep perpetuating that. So what I'll say is honor this threshold right here, which should be sort of innate for you because you are familiar and well-versed in shadow work. This is like my thing too. I'm like, no, I'm a shadow worker. Like everything else can go away. So honor the threshold. For everyone here, honor this threshold. And I put it in the comments. But don't, so many of us are just sitting in this discomfort and just being like, oh, I hope it passes, right? Honor the threshold. Honor the discomfort. Try it out. Then make a mindful moment for yourself to witness what the discomfort is. Where is it sitting? What is the story? What have it served me in the past, right? So breaking all of these things down, so then the next time we go to show up, it's tailored a little bit more, right? And understanding and knowing, and everyone here knows that the energy is a cycle, right? So another threshold is going to show up along with another amount of time that is our authentic embodiment, and then another threshold. So these things are cyclical too. While you're in it now, utilize it for all it can be, because this is where the discomfort and the learning is most clear.
Yeah. The threshold is the most difficult place to be, and people fight it and want it to end. But it's actually the most potent time. And when we can be mindful of the cyclical motion of the journey of life, that like rites of passage we're constantly going through. So severance, threshold, and body fusion, we're always going through that. And when we're aware of where we are in that journey, what stage we're in, we're able to really be in it and like absorb the most from the phase that we're in, and extract all the goodness instead of wanting it to be over. Mm-hmm. Or like looking for the next thing. Like even in embodied fusion, we're still looking for the next thing. Okay, but what's next? There's so much power in each one of these phases that when we give ourselves the space to be present in that and go, okay, how is this energy working and how can I use this in my favor? How can I really absorb the most in this? You're able to really that's like how you really quantum leap, because we're always going to be moving. But if we can take the most out of it, we can move up a lot higher, a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like that we're going to be in that threshold forever, whatever length of time. But how far do you want to go with it? This mm-hmm. far or this far?
Also, okay, last thing. One of the things that we work on at the end of Activate Your Life's Purpose is that understanding that sitting into that threshold is part of how you show up most authentically. Right? Rather than like pushing this away and being like, I just have to get over that hurdle to be able to show up authentically. No, this is always going to be a part of our authentic experience. So a lot of what we're doing at the end of the program is learning to lean into that and learning how to integrate that as part of our authentic expression. So that's something that I would say too, is just like every reason that comes up as to why we should resist or try to get through it as fast as possible, know that that is just deteriorating our authentic self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like we want to disembody it. Like, oh, that's not who I want to be. It's not a part of my experience, and we disown it. But really, there's so much richness and to learn from that experience. And as you can probably tell, the threshold is both Alyssa and I's favorite place.
Shadow work.
Discomfort. Thank you for that question. Was that helpful? Did that resonate? Good.
I love watching you take notes. Please keep us updated. Like, please show up in the Facebook group or anything, or message us. Please keep us updated on how this sits with you over time.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's a pleasure.
We have time for another question. Anyone else have a question or something they want to share? So you guys are thinking, you're like, is there anything? You got one more? Sure.
Seriously, if somebody else does, just chime in. I just, have loads and loads. But I think as an intuitive person now, realizing how that is really needed as a healer, if you feel that that aligns with you, seeing the insane amount of accounts out there and just seeing that now of how many intuitive healers are out there. The mindset, and I know it's all in my mindset, it seems like you have to be really specific to what you offer, your kind of medicine, to who are you attracting, like your soul clients or whatever. And that's why I think I originally asked you the question is, how do you specify knowing what kind of healer you are when we're in Jello? And it is like this right now. And I loved how you said, just go out there and try it, see what comes up. Because the more general you are, I don't think you're really attracting who needs the medicine that you're carrying. So that's why I was just having such a hard time.
Yes. Yeah. Great question. Yeah, that's a big part of Actualize Purpose. It's like, yeah, you're a healer, you're a space holder, you're an intuitive, but you are so much more than that. You have your own unique, what we call zesty magic, that you stand out, what makes you different than everyone else. And so, yeah, we have an entire module that dives into your uniqueness, what makes you stand out, what your specific soul mission is, and how that moves people, and your unique gifts, that maybe you're a healer, but this is the energy you bring. This is the work that you shine light on. And you're able to get to because gosh, I think we're all healers. I think every person here might be a healer. Maybe they're a Reiki practitioner, maybe they're, whatever. I can name off 1,000 things. That's not the point. The point is, even if we all did Reiki, we're all going to do it different, because the medicine that we have, our unique gifts and how we share them are so particular, and they work differently. We can go to the same person, have the same client, and they'll have 2 entirely different experiences from intuitive healers. And so it's about really getting clear on what that uniqueness is, what your zesty magic is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember that going out and trying it, the trying it isn't the point, right? How does it resonate with you afterwards, right? In what ways are you like, oh, that felt like it was in integrity, and that felt kind of, not that, right? It's not the going out and trying it. It's this shadow work, right? It's this process of then dissecting afterwards, like what really resonates, what was it, and what was me feeling like I had to show up a certain way, what was me feeling like I needed to show up for that specific type of client. And so it's the undercurrent, it's that work that happens after, right? That's how we start to become more in tune with oh, that's my medicine, that's what feels aligned and integrity with my purpose, and now I can discern that. It's not the action of trying it.
Yeah, and what will happen is when you try it, the stories are going to come up. The very thing that has been blocking it, societal conditionings are going to come up. Hence why this foundational work is so important, because when you go out and try, all of these layers and levels are here that are holding you back. And so when you do that initial work of the story work, the ancestral healing, the societal conditioning, all of that weight's lifted, so that when you do show up, it's really clear. You know who you are, you know your medicine, you know your gifts, and you're able to, you gets to be easy. You get to be an ease and flow as you show up. But I know, Alyssa, you got to be heading out now, so we will close this container. Thank you so much, Becky. That was a great question. I know that you were channeling the questions for everyone here, so thank you.
It always happens.
All right, thank you everyone who are able to join live with us. I love seeing your faces. I love you so much. Have a beautiful evening. And those that are watching the replay, you'll see the link for the application for the purpose clarity calls in your email. Okay, bye.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for being here.